I know that before moving to Chatbooks in November 2015, you have this amazing career. You worked for O Magazine, Reader's Digest. You've written a book, a bestseller. You've created courses. I mean, you have done a lot in a very short amount of time, it seems. So maybe guide us to how you got to Chatbooks ultimately.
Yeah, definitely. So I was an econ major in college, which is kind of surprising sometimes when you look back what I did 10 years immediately after that. But I love telling stories. I also love reading stories. And so I moved to New York City and became a magazine editor at places like the Oprah Magazine. I was the food editor there. I traveled the country eating and drinking and meeting people and telling their stories. And I loved it. It was honestly my dream job. And along the way, one of my favorite types of stories to tell was that of entrepreneurs themselves. So part of my job was to know everything new happening in the food world. And so I would meet with lots of entrepreneurs and chefs and people doing great things in the food world and say, tell me your story. And they would tell you these great stories of how they started out solving their own problems, sitting at their kitchen table and trying to create something that they wanted for themselves. And then maybe they would take it to a farmer's market, it would blow up, and they would have all this success. And then this moment where everything went wrong and the valley right here. But then, of course, always it somehow gets solved, or they were in the process of solving it. And I loved those stories. And so I would write them sometimes. But in, I think, 2012, 2011, I wrote a story in Oprah Magazine about a number of these food entrepreneurs. And just little vignettes. Here's what they were doing. Here's their challenges. Here's how they overcame them. And people resonated with that story so much. It was in the midst of the recession. People were kind of thinking, how do I do a side hustle? How do I take this thing I love doing and turn it into extra income or a growth opportunity for me? And they really wanted to know how to do it with food. I think food is kind of a gateway drug to entrepreneurship. It's accessible, right? Like we could all imagine going into our kitchen and trying to bake something and sell it, right? And sometimes technology can kind of be like that. Like, I can go on Code Academy and learn how to code something, but food is really straightforward. I want to make granola. I want to sell granola. I can see how that works. And so that was what led me to write my book called Cooking Up a Business. And I went into writing the book completely a food person. I thought I was going to be a food person for the rest of my life. That's what I love to do, just tell food stories. And by the end of it, I was entranced with entrepreneurship in general, business, what these people were doing, how they started from nothing. And really, I was spending so much time writing these stories that I thought, this guy did it and this woman did it, and maybe I could do it. And I had never had a moment like that before. And so that's what writing the book really did for me, was open my eyes up to the fact that anybody could be an entrepreneur. You just had to get started and make a lot of mistakes and keep going and not run out of money, but anybody could try it.